resumes, and you said 100%. You said 100% upon. What did you mean
Because
by that when you when
um
you state?
um Buzz said he didn't care about the resumes because honestly, Sean Porter got a better resume than him and Earl. And I was
Hmm.
just talking about that with somebody really important in boxing, and I said, man, if you really notice, Sean resume better than all of them guys. And he was like, really? He said, and we start naming them off. He was like, damn, you're right. And I said, if you look fighter for fighter, when he fought the fight, Sean resume better than all of them. So what I meant by that is that sometimes when a fighter is really dangerous or they're in a certain situation, they may not get the opportunities that other fighters get. So you got people that screaming and hollering about resumes, but a lot of that is predicated upon the opportunities that you get and the money that you could offer. The biggest star in boxing is usually going to have at least one of the best resumes because he can offer you the most money out of everybody else. So nobody's turning down double and triple their best paydays ever. So Terrence Crawford always been a great fighter, but he hasn't always been a big star, right? So you know his resume is solid. It's a lot of B-level guys, and he's been consistent all the way through the years since he beat Ricky Burns. He don't have a great resume. I'm not, trying to advocate for the guy to have a great resume, but it's not as bad as everybody think it is because he hasn't had all of the opportunities. Where if you lose a fight or you look a little bit vulnerable, then your resume get better because you get those calls that take all of the fights because people think they could beat you. There's a kid in our city, Jerron Ennis, right? People talk about his resume, and I'm not saying he got a great resume because I'm friends with him and his dad because he don't have a great resume, but it's not that bad. He don't get opportunities. He doesn't. So they be like, he got 30 fights and he's 26 and he haven't fought anybody. I'm like, because people not gonna fight him because he's too good. His resume is gonna get better as time go on, where they can offer these guys more money, or if he get knocked down, or he get a tough decision, or even a loss, then his resume is gonna get better. But he's not gonna get those Hall of Fame A+ guys on his resume yet because he hasn't shown no vulnerability. Who wanna fight a guy that talented, that um with that kind of range, with that kind of jab, with that kind of power, that kind of reflexes, switch hitting? Don't nobody want to fight him. I could remember when Julian was coming up, we begged for fights with guys like Austin Trout. We begged for ex-world champions, but he wasn't showing no vulnerability coming up. He was making the top 10 prospect list. He was rolling through people. When going into the Charlo fight, he hadn't lost a fight in like round in like 3 years. So you know what happens? It was hard for us to get fights. But when he lost to Charlo, you know what happened? We was able to get fights. That's how boxing works. So when people say that, I always be like, resumes is good, but you gotta take that in context. You know, if you're a little bit vulnerable or you're in a different situation, then your resume is gonna be better than other guys. And guys like Bud, Boots, and stuff like that, their resumes might not be that great until they get a little older, until they establish themselves where they can offer people a certain amount of money because people just don't want to fight them. So I understood what he was saying, and he was to say that another man got a better resume than he was very honest, and he just was like, Sean resume is better than both of ours, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, it is. Sean fought everybody for 10 straight
Hmm.
years. He got one of the best resumes in boxing. People just don't respect the fact that Sean got one of the best resumes because he took some losses. If you look at the guys he fought, Kell
Yeah.
Brook, undefeated. Terrence Crawford, undefeated. Errol Spence, undefeated. Keith Thurman, undefeated. Danny Garcia, Devin Alexander when he was what? Ugas.
Cool
Sean is
guys.
a dog. That Joker then fought. You know what I'm saying? So
He
yeah,
can
yeah,
fight
he
Adrian
fought Adrian
Broner.
Broner. Listen, he done fought so many people. I forgot that he fought Adrian Broner. So, I understood where Crawford was coming from, even though fighters may not like say it in the terms that I'm using. But I know, man, because I make fights, man. I call the promoter and the matchmaker and I ask for different things. And I just know that you just don't always get everything you want. You know, people think you can fight whoever you want. You can't. You can't fight whoever you want, man. And you definitely don't set the price on the fight. The networks and the promoters set the price on the fights. So it's just and then the
Right.
ranking system is a little bit, you know, it's just Crawford was right. You know, trust me. He was saying that you don't have that much space on Twitter, but he definitely was right when he said that Sean's resume was better than him and Earl's. You know what I mean? He hit it on the nose.
What do you think about the media workout? When it comes down to both fighters, I mean, gearing up to this fight, who looks better? Do they look, equally great? I've seen some things. Do you think like one fighter probably did a little bit more on the strength and conditioning side? The other one just kept it more boxing and game plan. Did you see anybody, going for the water bottle a little bit more than the other? Like, talk to
Um,
me. What you think about the media workout?
you're probably not gonna like this answer, man, but I think that we put too much
Man,
stock into that. You know what I mean? That's my honest
yeah.
opinion. I think we put a little bit too much stock into. Hold up, I'm trying to sit down, man. My back hurting. We go a little bit crazy with that stuff. Like it's like, oh man, did you see that jab Earl threw? Did you see that? You know, it's a little bit, I'm at media days, I had guys whisper to me and say, yo, man, let's not show too much. You know what I mean? So I watch everybody go crazy. I don't want to be the killjoy, tell nobody that it ain't no Santa Claus, but it's like, I'm going to tell you what I saw. I did like the fact that both fighters worked out, because a lot of times you get this, you get to
Broke a
they both
sweat.
broke a sweat that let me
Yeah.
see. I'm looking at it from a different perspective. They both broke good sweats. Um, Terrence looked like he was about 153, 152 pounds. Earl looked like he was about 157. They both looked good. They both broke a sweat. They both did a good workout. They both had good energy. So I look for that. They both was moving around the ring good. A lot of times guys be dragging a little bit when they get close to weight. They don't have the energy. Their voice be dragging, things like that. Both guys look real, real energetic. So that's the thing that I saw. But how they work is how they work. Terrence works by committee. He got three coaches. They all do their little thing. Earl got one coach, and they fight at their rhythm, and the one thing I found interesting is Terrence trains at the rhythm he fights, and Earl trains at the rhythm he fights. Terrence trained at more like that, a quicker jazz rhythm. Pop, pop. And Earl, yes, yes,
Super sharp.
those very unique combinations, very unique combinations. He don't load up on much. He knows how to whip shots in. That's hard to counter. Very, very, very sharp, very locked in. And Earl legs was up under him. He was sharp. Earl fights at a different rhythm. It's boom, 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 boom,
Mm.
boom, boom, boom,
Yep.
boom, boom, boom. So uh, that all the
He keeps
way
that
through the
rhythm
fight.
all the way
Very, very,
down.
very consistent fighter. So that's what I saw, and I saw both of them training exactly how they fight, and I saw two guys that was locked in, and I let the casuals go crazy over the rest of the stuff, but I saw two real locked in guys, and I think we're gonna get a special fight, man. I'm talking about fight of the century. I think it's gonna be special.
Mm, I like it. I like it. Um, I know that you didn't have a pick. Do you
No,
still
I
not
don't
have a
have a pick,
pick?
man. I got little things that I see in both guys. I'm I got good relationships with both teams. Derek is my guy. We've been on with PBC. Him and Julian and Earl signed with PBC the same year. I've been around Derek a lot. I got a lot of love for Earl, man. Always been a good young fella, man. I really like that kid. Real cool kid, man. And Red, that's my boy. He helped me out with Karan Davis when Karan took the fight with Benavidez. Bomac, we've been talking, what I mean? I've been talking to them guys for years also. It's like a brother. Um, and Terrence is a good dude. So it, the fight is really, really close, in my opinion. Uh, what I could tell you is that I think that Terrence is the puncher in the fight, not so much the harder puncher, but I think that he hits guys with like a little bit sharper shots where they don't see it. So that's why his knockouts, even though they knock out guys that are running the same rate, Earl's knockouts is more of a beat down. I think besides Leonard Bundle, Earl kind of beats guys down, where Terrence hits you, you got
And Terrence
he got the
got the
highlight
highlight
reels, and I
reels.
think that that's not so much because he's so much sharper, I mean, so much more powerful. I just think he hits you with shots that you don't see. So I think that Terrence is the puncher in terms of if one of them was to score like a brutal one punch knockout or something, I think it would be Terrence. I think Terrence is more likely to do it. And believe it or not, I think Earl is the boxer in the fight. I think Earl's a really good boxer coming forward. I think he throws a real good jab. It's hard to outpoint him because he's always constantly touching you with his jab. Um, he showed real super good boxing skills versus Mikey Garcia. I thought he won every round from Mikey. He just was just killing him with a jab, having taken to have a step back. So Earl has that in him. Um, and for as great as Terrence is, um, he he can get outboxed for a few rounds. Um, you know, um, you know,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't want to say it's a weakness because it hasn't cost him yet, but that is something that when you watch him fight, and he's a great fighter. I mean, super great fighter. But you can outbox him in spots. You know what I mean? Like that's just the one thing about him. Like if you watch the
Hmm.
fight with Jose Benavidez Jr., the first couple of rounds with
Hmm.
Kell Brook, even the Hank Lundy fight. It's weird. It takes Crawford a little bit of time to kind of get his eyes up to par. That's a term you use in boxing. Like he's got to get his eyes right. So I think that
Or you gotta, or you gotta
well,
drop him, and then
yeah,
he
yeah,
just
but see,
turns
that's not
something
really
up on
boxing.
him.
That's a mentality. So I'm talking about just strictly scoring points in boxing. And when he make his adjustment, he's a
Hmm.
savage. He beats the shit out of you. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about like being able to outbox him. You can get some rounds on Terrence. So I think Earl is the boxer in the fight with his jab, with his I think the crowd's gonna be on his side. He's constantly kind of like stepping forward. I could see the judges liking what he's doing, but I think Terrence is the puncher in the fight. So that's where my dilemma is. Do Terrence clip him or do Earl keep that jab on him all night and fight? Like a big fight, big man fight, and win a decision. So right now it's really hard because I don't think much separates them. I think it's a close fight.
Do, do you think that? Do you think Terrence has to do a little bit more than Errol in this fight
Um,
to get a fair shake?
you know, that's not my business, man. I want to like I said enough about the Julian Williams thing because I'm directly involved in that, but I don't want to start fighting for somebody else's decisions, who the judges is going to be. That's not fair to them
Makes
or me. So I don't,
sense.
that's not my business. Earl, I'm sorry, Terrence's team, if they feel that way, then they got to address that. But I don't want to be the person to start saying he's not going to get a fair decision, and then he get a Tim Bradley decision over Manny Pacquiao, and then I look stupid, So the A side don't get him 100% of the time. So I and
Yeah, because your predictions
yeah,
on this show are
yeah,
pretty
I
high
don't want
right
to
now,
get
so we're gonna
into
keep it
that,
like
you know what I mean? But
that.
I do think that Terrence is the puncher in the fight and Earl is the boxer. But honestly, I don't even know who the judges and referee gonna be, and that's important. You know what I mean? People asking me,
Hmm.
with a fight like this, everything matters. I'm real curious to see if it's gonna be like the same judges that normally do fights, if they bringing in fresh guys that have controversial decisions, guys that favor the aggressive fighter, guys that favor the A side. Like we don't even know, you know what I mean? So what I notice about boxing, man. Everybody is so fast to have an opinion on everything, and sometimes, man, when you just sit back and you
Right.
think, you let things play out, and you gotta be a little bit more smarter. You gotta have a little bit more restraint. I can remember when this fight was happening, a lot of people drew a bunch of sides, and it was and I kept saying they're gonna make the fight. You just saying that like they gonna make the fight. It's too much money. They'll make the fight. They'll figure it out. I even said that, you know, one of the things, the reason I believed they was gonna make the fight was because of Jerron Boots Ennis. I said because, if
Hmm.
Earl and Terrence, they're in their 30s, they haven't fought Keith Thurman, the other top welterweight of their era. They haven't fought the young gun and Jerron Ennis, and they haven't fought each other. So you can't
Hmm.
even the critics are going to be like, damn, y'all missed the three best guys of y'all ever. Y'all got, like, come on, y'all can't put yourself in the category of the Leonards and Oscars and all that when y'all don't fight each other. Y'all didn't fight Keith Thurman. Y'all didn't fight Jerron Boots, and Boots been asking for the smoke. So I said to myself, I don't think either one of them ducking Boots, but I said they would rather fight each other because they're the same age bracket than Boots, and they'd rather fight each other than Keith because Keith is an excellent fighter, but he did take the loss to Manny Pacquiao. So the bigger fight is Earl versus Terrence. I always believed they was gonna make the fight, but a lot of people had a lot to say, and then now they got to eat humble pie. You know what I mean? They
Hmm.
got to eat humble pie because they
Yep.
did make the fight. So I don't have to
Right.
have an opinion on everything, man. Maybe Terrence can win a decision. Maybe he can't. Earl gonna be there to try to earn it, the hard way. So he got a hell of a guy in front of him, and let's see who the judges and everything are. But you know, my comment was about Julian Williams. I